Hello, everybody, and welcome. I don't know why I did a Dr. Nick impersonation there, but welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about the new laws that are about to go into effect in New York City. In fact, they're going into effect today. I'm sure most of you are aware that the Supreme Court recently recognized and reaffirmed that the Constitution does indeed grant you an individual right as a citizen to carry a firearm outside your home for self-defense. Well, the leaders of New York City, and I put leaders in quotations because they don't really do anything, they just serve the rich population in New York City. They have decided, we don't like what the Constitution says, so we're going to find ways around it. We're going to find ways to deny you your constitutional rights. Even if we don't have the authority, we're going to at least make you afraid that if you exercise your constitutional rights, you're going to become a felon. That's the whole point of these laws, to turn legal, law-abiding citizens who do nothing but exercise their constitutional rights and commit no crimes, but they become felons because they just happen to be in the wrong spot or walk through the wrong door. That's the whole point of this law. It's not about making anybody safer. It's just about keeping people from exercising their rights. They want people who now know, I have a right to carry a gun. They're placing these really strict restrictions on them getting their licenses, even though that's going to fall. You can't place restrictions on a constitutional right. That's not going to hold up to court scrutiny. They're doing all these things that, will not be able to be kept in law, but they're doing it simply because they want to make people be afraid they're going to become felons. That's really the whole thing. I lost my train of thought there, but you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to talk about what this law actually says and whether it's going to stand and why it's not going to stand. I kind of answered that question already. But I want to talk about the real purpose of laws like this. And I want to talk about how someone actually gave it away in the state of New York City, the state of New York. Actually, I think New York City itself is its own state because I always hate when you lump all of New York in with New York City. I think they should just secede and become two different places. But what they're doing in New York now is they've decided, well, we don't like the fact that people have this right, so we're just going to make it to where if you exercise your right, you're at risk of being a felon. It's about as legally bulletproof as saying, you got First Amendment rights, but we're going to make it illegal to say anything bad about the government or law enforcement, etc., if you're on public property. If you're in the wrong building or the wrong place and we hear you say something bad about the police, we're going to put you in jail. That's about what this law is like. It's about the same theory there, and it's not going to stand up in court. For one, it does some things that are already being shot down in court. It raises the age to buy most semi-automatic long guns to 21. That's already being shot down in the courts. It's not going to stand. That'll go away. And before we go any further here, I know a lot of people out there want to help in the fight in New York City. If you do help and you want to help, don't be sending money to GOA, NRA, etc. I see they're all fundraising on it right now. Don't send them money. Every time you send them money, 60% of it disappears to administrative costs. So save your money, keep it in your pocket, and when the lawsuits are actually filed, send that money to the people actually fighting the case there on the ground. Not like the NRA and all those others that just get their name on it because they show up and send a representative and shake their fist for a minute. I'm talking the local organizations that are actually there fighting on the ground, the actual plaintiffs. So save your money for when it's needed. Stop feeding these giant national organizations that just swallow up most of the money. That's a little side rant there. But like I said, a lot of things it does is not going to fly. For one, it also says you have to allow your social media accounts to be scrutinized before you can get a permit. That permit is a constitutional right. You're not going to be able to do that. That's not going to hold up in court. That is putting conditions on your First Amendment right and your Second Amendment right, which a state has no authority to do. They can't say, well, you can only exercise your Second Amendment right if you don't exercise your First Amendment rights in a way we don't like. Or you can only exercise your First Amendment rights if you don't care about being able to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Not going to fly in court, period. That ain't going to last, and they know it. Like I said, this law is just designed to scare you into not exercising your rights. They're making a whole lot of places where you can't carry. Like they're saying all private property is off limits unless the owner says it's not. Well, that's not going to fly either. That is taking rights away from private property owners. They have a right to say whether something is or isn't allowed in their building. So that ain't going to fly either. That's a violation of so many private rights of private businesses and private property. So, but it is a good chance here just for a short while this law is in effect, for businesses to put signs out that says, legal gun owners welcome here. And then people will know where to spend their money in New York City. The pro-Constitution, pro-freedom people. So that's something the businesses can take advantage of right now. Let us know whose side you're on. But like I said, that's not going to fly. Now, as far as the other properties where they're making it illegal to carry a gun, making it a felony too, not just a misdemeanor. It'll be a felony. You'd be a felon if they caught you. And the police, all they have to have is reasonable cause to think you're carrying. They could just be like, white guy in his 30s, a lot of them guys own guns. He's wearing a loose shirt. That's reasonable cause. So they can just harass people for any reason. But the places they're doing it, healthcare places. I'm going to read a list here. Libraries, children and family services, nursing schools, private offices for, state and local government, homeless shelters, colleges, universities, private schools, public transportation and transit facilities. That one ain't going to fly at all. People have a right to use public transportation. They pay for it with their tax money. And if they have a right to carry, they have a right to do that. Bars and restaurants serving alcohol, theaters and stadiums, polling places, public sidewalks that are closed to the public, Times Square as defined by the city. Just all kinds of places that they've said now you can't carry, and if you carry on them, you're a felon. Now that is scary, and it's going to make a lot of people not exercise their rights, which is what they want. But William Fitzpatrick, he's a district attorney in New York. He actually kind of blurted out their real goal here. When he was asked, aren't you concerned that this law is going to turn a lot of legal law-abiding citizens into felons? He said, no. He said, I can't see us actually charging these people with felons just because they were in the wrong place with their guns. What we'll do is we'll just offer them a deal to where we won't charge them with a felony if they surrender their carry permits for 5 or 10 years. That's the real goal right there. They want people who they do catch to surrender their Second Amendment rights legally, through a contract, which wouldn't really be that legal in my opinion. I bet it would be overturned later, but that's what they want. Those are their two goals. Scare you into thinking if you exercise your Second Amendment rights, you'll be a felon. And two, if they do catch people, when they catch people, anyone they want to catch, anyone they know that like, hey, that guy's a pro 2A advocate, we're going to follow him today. And as soon as he steps into one of these prohibited places, we're going to pick him up. And then we're going to say, hey, you can either become a felon or you can surrender your rights. That's their main goal. They want to get those plea bargains where you surrender your rights instead of facing going bankrupt, being charged with a felony, and possibly going to jail, even if it's just for a year or two while this is in court. So that's their goal. Keep that in mind. Like I said, this law is not going to stand as written right now. It's not going to be anywhere near what's written right now. A lot of these obstacles to getting a permit are going to fall because the courts are already tearing down things like assault weapons ban, restrictions on age, etc. all over the country because of the new edict from the Supreme Court. But there's just some holdouts, like places in California, New York, New Jersey, who say, we're above the law, we're above the Constitution, we'll do what we want. And if you think you can exercise your constitutional rights in our city, we'll make you a felon. And you don't have to deal with that. That's what they're doing. Like I said, they want to intimidate you into not exercising your Second Amendment rights. They want to make it hard for you to get a permit, even though that's going to fall because that was the big thing that they just got slapped down on. And they want that leverage that anytime they want to, they can target a gun owner and have that guy charged with a felony, offer him a deal that, hey, we'll drop the felony if you agree to willfully surrender your rights. That's their goal. And like I said, this William Fitzpatrick said it out loud. Although we all knew it, there's always alternatives to these laws, alternative goals. When they know they won't stand in court, there's other things they want to do. They want to say, well, if we don't ever charge anyone with a felony, they'll never have standing to sue us, but we'll get so many people who accept the plea bargain and give up their rights. Pretty much anyone we want to give up their rights, we'll be able to by charging them with a felony. And they know as long as they never actually charge anyone with a felony, they won't ever have to face in court someone who was damaged by the law. So that's the point of that. That's just to get plea bargains. So if they ever charge you, don't take the plea bargain. I bet they'll still drop the charges, but let's hope they don't. If I was personally charged in New York City with carrying my gun, like say I was walking down the street and I turned onto the wrong sidewalk and they picked me up and said, "You're going to be charged with a felony," no plea deals would be accepted. I would fight it all the way because I would have standing then and I would win. I know I would win. But they would probably drop the charges, like I said, if you don't take the plea deal. But let's hope someone finally gets this taken down. But that's the whole point of it right now. Like I said, it's to just strip you of your rights in ways that they think will fly under the radar, that won't allow people to sue and turn over the law. But eventually this stuff will all get overturned. It's not going to stand. Just like their 100-year-old law just fell, this will fall also. And most of the places that they listed really where you can't go, I probably would never get in trouble for because I don't go to most of these places. I don't go to libraries or daycare centers or, concerts or NASCAR races or anything like that. I do occasionally go to a concert or something, but nowadays you can't take guns into those places in most places anyway. So really it doesn't do a lot of harm as far as the places they're listing. Most of us are never going to go there. But some of us, like I'm not going to go to a homeless shelter. I never get in that much trouble at home. I'll sleep in my car. But that's just kind of where it stands right now. These are just restrictions on who could get permits, like they've already been told they can't do. Restrictions on your First Amendment right, restrictions on where you can travel, restriction on private citizens' rights, etc. This is just a legal nightmare, this law, passed by morons in the middle of the night, basically. So it's not going to hold up, but those are their main goals. Remember, pay attention to the non-stated goals. We want to get everybody to surrender their rights. That's their non-stated goal. They want to intimidate everyone to not exercise their rights. So I tell everybody in New York City, if you've got it, carry it. Stay legal. But if for some reason they think you're not being legal and they charge you with this felony, a person not even committing a real crime, not hurting anybody, just exercising your Second Amendment rights. If they want to try to turn you into a felon, fight it. Do not accept any plea bargains. You will win in court because this law is a legal nightmare and they will never be able to defend it. All right, I went really long there, but I do want to say one more thing here before I leave. Everyone who watched yesterday's video saw that I put forward a new sticker, the Waddle sticker, the Werewolf Anti-Defamation League, to try to make up some shortcomings we have in our funding for pets and vets this month. We're about $2,000 low. We got like $8 in there almost. I made this sticker and I said, if you put this sticker on your car, your door, the window of your home, wherever, you won't get eaten by werewolves. Because werewolves will think you're an ally. And no self-respecting werewolf would eat an ally. And a lot of people have called me on this saying, there's no way that's true. You can't guarantee that. It's ridiculous. Well, I stand behind my word. I still say this is guaranteed. So right now, for anyone who buys a Waddle sticker or has bought one already, and if you want to buy one, you can go over to tympistolproject.com. There's a place right there on my webpage where you can order one to help support pets and vets. So go on over there and do that if you want. And if you buy one of these and you put it on your car or you put it on your house and then you get eaten by a werewolf, I will refund all of your money minus shipping and handling. So there you have it. There is a guarantee, foolproof guarantee. I stand behind this. You put this sticker on your car. You put this sticker on your own. Now, wait, if you have two cars and you only put it on one, if you're in the other car and you get eaten, that doesn't count. You have to actually have been in a car that had the sticker on it. So if you have two cars in a house, you might want to buy 3 stickers. Like I said, good cause and protecting you and your family from being eaten by werewolves. And I'm not saying you actually have to support werewolves. Of course we don't support werewolves. This is just a big fake out to make them think you're an ally. So go ahead, do it. And like I said, I will stand behind my word. If you get eaten by a werewolf after you have adequately protected yourself with the stickers, like I said, I will refund most of your money, everything except for the shipping. So there you have it. Ironclad guarantee from me to you. And with that being said, I am out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to remember, always carry and put a wattle sticker on your car. And stay safe until I see you again.